and go get your booster. I was just looking at my card the other day, Alex, and my second shot was February the 23rd, which means my 8 months would be October the 23rd. So my plan is to get my flu shot first and then get my booster shot. So I'm encouraging everyone, if you've gotten both your shots, if it's two Modernas, 2 Pfizers, or Johnson & Johnson, get your booster shot. If you haven't started, get that. And let me put on, before we continue, put on my city council hat if I can, Yolanda. Tomorrow at the city council meeting in Atlantic City, I'm introducing a resolution encouraging our city administration to mandate that all city employees in Atlantic City, part and full-time, get vaccinated. And I am sure that the administration of Mayor Small, which is a progressive administration, which has stood behind the vaccines, I am sure that they're going to move on that. I have never predict how my colleagues are going to vote, but I think that this is going to pass. And in that same realm, I'm also introducing a resolution tomorrow about smoking in the casinos, which is something that the casino workers are very rightly concerned about. It's a health issue, and we are supporting the bill in the Senate and the Assembly to ban smoking in casinos. So that's 2 things that the Atlantic City government is going to hopefully be moving on tomorrow. While we're talking about health, let us all lift up Reverend Jesse Jackson and his wife, who are presently hospitalized with COVID-19, and we hope and pray for their full and complete recovery. We also lift up Ms. Thatcher Davis, who is our social media chair, very able and capable social media chair for NAACP. Her uncle has unexpectedly passed away, and we pray for her. On a lighter note, we, as we always do, we recognize and salute the president of WHA and the CEO, Elder William Hawks, who's going to be celebrating his 60th birthday on this Saturday. And we say happy 60th to you, President Hawks. Hopefully you will have many more. We wish you good health and peace as you move forward in life. Next week, please listen as we're going to have Rosie Segura, who is our breakfast chair. We are in great hopes that we will be able to go back to our Freedom Fund breakfast, which is scheduled for Saturday, April 30th at Hard Rock. And Chairperson Segura will be here to talk about our Freedom Fund breakfast. And also we are going to start talking now for the MLK program. This, I believe, I'll have to check with our branch historians. Yolanda, I believe this will be our 50th MLK celebration. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to have the walk because of COVID, but we will have a virtual program. We will be announcing the speaker shortly, and we're going to have the radiothon again. And we thank everyone who supported last year's radiothon and last year's speaker. So without further ado, we're going to turn it over to our very capable Vice President, Legal Redress Officer, and as Alexander Bland has dubbed her the Queen of Radio. And let me just say this, Yolanda, we ban her lightheartedly about how she mistreats him with the guests, but I think she's done a wonderful job. We are coming on 2 years that we've had this program. We haven't missed a edition. We've had numerous guests from the governor and lieutenant governor, the attorney general, the senior African-American legislator, Senator Rice, and other people in our community on this program. And I think that it has helped the NAACP get our independent, unrestricted voice to talk about NAACP issues, to talk about civil rights, talk about social justice. I count it as a victory. We stood out and said, let's have an early voting place in Atlantic City, and that's going to happen. We're going to be talking about that. Please make sure you're registered to vote. If you want to early vote, do that. But understand, if you have requested a mail-in ballot, you have to opt out so you can early vote. But that's coming this year, and the NAACP stands front and center on these social justice and civil rights issues. So without further ado, Yolanda Melville, Esquire. Good afternoon, Yolanda.
Good afternoon, President, and I'm thrilled to be here for another month as we close out August. We have one more month, one more show this week, but I also want everyone to show this month, but I want to just make sure that people know about our national calendar. August, we celebrate two things. National Immunization Awareness Month, as we talk about COVID-19 and the importance of that. This is National Immunization Awareness Month. So please take a moment to think about how you keep yourself healthy and that our community healthy through your immunizations. But also, this is Black Business Month. We want to make sure that we are celebrating and actually being a patron to a local Black business. So if you know a Black business in your community that you would like to support, please do so. August is almost done, but you can always help support a Black business any time of the year. But why not do it through Black Business Month? I also want to give our announcements for the week. There are a few things coming up. We will have Maisha Aziz in our 5 o'clock half hour. We will hear shortly from Dr. Nini, as well as Alexander Bland, our Young Adults Committee Chair. Coming up this Sunday, August 29th from 2 to 4 p.m. at the Noise Arts Garage of Stockton at 2200 Fairmont Avenue in Atlantic City, there's a special panel discussion about Atlantic City's significance in the 1964 Freedom Summer. Freedom Summer was a historic turning point in the civil rights movement, and one of the most significant events took place here in Atlantic City on August 22nd. Fannie Lou Hamer led the Mississippi Democratic Freedom Party delegates in challenging the right of mainstream Democratic Party delegates to represent their state. Atlantic City was in the national spotlight as Ms. Hamer's party shared the tactics used to prevent Black people from voting in Mississippi on national TV and demonstrators marched to support outside of Convention Hall right here in our city. The African American Heritage Museum of Southern New Jersey Freedom Summer panel will include the museum's founder and president, Ralph Hunter, Atlantic City Councilman and NAACP President, our very own Kaleem Shabazz, Dr. Donatrice Allison, Program Chair of Africana Studies at Stockton University, and the Stockton University Special Collections Librarian, Heather Perez. Panelists will discuss the national significance and local significance of a period that is still relevant to today's fight for equality and justice. There will also be a limited showing of the museum's A Time for Change exhibit, which through photos and narratives, take the viewer back in time to the events of 1964. We also want to invite everyone here to become a member of the NAACP Atlantic City branch. As President Kaleem Shabazz has mentioned, we are here on the organization's radio show with an solicited voice, but basically our own independent voice. We've been able to do that through the membership of our community, as well as the membership of our members here of the Atlantic City branch. We want more. You can be a member of the Atlantic City branch by doing the following. You can send your name, address, email address, and phone number to our Atlantic City NAACP PO Box at PO Box 1182, Absecon, New Jersey, 08201, as well as also going on naacp.org/become a member. And we are branch 2077B, which is the Atlantic City branch. Our 1-year annual membership for an adult is $30. If you know a young person who wants to be a member of our organization, please contact us. We do have free memberships available for young people. Also, as President Shabazz mentioned, election time is nearing us. And we want everybody to become a registered voter here in New Jersey. In order to do that, you have to be a United States citizen, at least 17 years old, though you may not vote until 18. You have to be a resident of your county for at least 30 days prior to the election. And so long as you are not serving or incarcerated, you can actually vote this year. So please, if you have a condition of parole or probation here in New Jersey, you are eligible to vote. So please tell someone that you know who may be impacted by the criminal justice system that there is a resource available, that they are eligible to vote this year and should register. Also, please take note that in about 2 months from now, we'll be holding our annual candidates forum, and that will be October 26th and October 25th and October 26th. So please look out for more communications on our social media channels, and we will continue to be a voice of what's happening in our election season, but also in our communities. And thank you so much for always listening to us. As President Shabazz says, we are nearing 2 years of being on the radio. So we want to thank WEHA, our community members, our stakeholders, everyone within the listening voice every week, and every member of the NAACP for supporting us. President, I'll turn it over to you before I turn it over to Mr. Blaine.
I just wanted to say very, very quickly, I echo that. I really, really thank our supporters, our members, all the guests that we've had, and we've had a long list of guests, Yolanda, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be 2 years in January, but it will be. Martin Luther King Day will mark when we started 2 years ago on this journey. And a special shout out to WEHA. They have been a blessing to us. And I am just excited for the future to keep on going. So I guess I must be, what's the word when you like people to punish you? A masochist? Must be a masochist for being punished every week, but it's for the greater good.
Thank you, President. And actually, before we turn to you, Alex, we want to just highlight 2 other special guests as well. So we have Victor Moreno here, as well as Dr. Cupanini, who will be giving us some information. Victor, how are you?
Good, Yolanda. Thank you so much for having me again today. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. Thank you again, Victor.
So I know you were here with us about 2 weeks ago, giving us a lot of exciting news. And for those who were not able to listen that week, can you give us the updates again? What is happening at ACCC?
I love it. Thank you so much again for allowing us to share this information. So we are so excited and ready to begin our fall semester. So classes do begin August 30th. However, it is not too late to still take advantage of all of the free opportunities that are still available right at Atlantic Cape. So we're very excited. We're putting back all this funding that we're obtaining through the federal government back in our students' pockets. So starting in this fall semester, we are giving every student, whether they're new or returning, 3 free credits for the fall semester. So automatically students off of their tuition bill will be deducted 3 free credits. As long as you register for classes, it is automatically going to be deducted from the student's tuition bill. We're also doing free laptops for students as well who are registered for 6 or more credits as a way of helping our students, supporting them through this pandemic. We know a lot of our students may not have the technology needs to be able to complete their homework. So we wanted to be proactive this fall semester and truly support the needs of our students. So we're very excited to be able to offer this opportunity to our students, again, new and returning. So I want to encourage our viewers today, those that are listening at the comfort of their own home, that to take advantage of this opportunity. And if they're missing one class, perhaps you're a student that's missing 1 or 2 courses, this is the best time to come back to school and get a free class and get that degree one step closer to earning that bachelor's degree, that certification that you may be missing. This is a good opportunity to take advantage of that. And Yolanda and President Shabazz, we're still offering free workforce training through the Atlantic City Works Training Program, which is sponsored by the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority for our Atlantic City residents as well. So those Atlantic City residents that are unemployed or underemployed can also obtain free workforce training programs through Atlantic Cape. Our casino employees that need advancement in their job can also obtain additional training to help them move up in their field. So we're offering a wide array of workforce training programs in hospitality, in our healthcare system, medical assistant, phlebotomy, EMT, you name it, our Casino Training Institute. These are all free training opportunities that are available to our Atlantic City residents and casino employees. You don't have a GED and you need one, worry not. You can also get a free GED program through Atlantic Cape as well as part of this Atlantic City Works Training Program and what we have been doing for the past year through this pandemic year. So we want to encourage all of our listeners today to take advantage of these offerings right in their own backyard through Atlantic Cape. We are here to support them and meet them where they're at, whether they need a GED, additional workforce training, or simply just need a couple courses to transfer over to their next institution. We are here to be a stepping stone for our students and get them where they got to go.
Victor's so enthusiastic, he gets me fired up.
I love all these opportunities that are available. It's free. Myself being a local from the Atlantic City area, it is nice to be able to share these opportunities with our residents, not just in Atlantic City, but our neighbors, Pleasantville, everywhere, all throughout Atlantic and Cape May County. So again, I am very excited to always share these wonderful opportunities for our students to take advantage and get one step closer to earning that next degree for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. And I hope that everyone within the listening sounds of our voice, as well as those who may know someone who needs one final class to finish their degree, listens to what Victor has said. Please, this is the time to get re-enrolled or just simply enrolled into Atlantic Cape Community College. So thank you, Victor, for all the information. And just thank you for always being a foot soldier and just connecting people with educational opportunities in our community.
Absolutely. We're here to help. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. So Yolanda, is Dr. Cupanini or Alexander next?
I believe Dr. Cupanini is here, but Alex, I know you've been waiting. So would you like to give us our brief update before we turn to Dr. Cupanini?
Sure. So I just want to keep iterating the proper mask etiquette. Wash your hands before and after touching your mask. When you touch the mask, and I brought example with me. When you touch your mask, make sure you only touch the ties and the strap part.
Good.
Can y'all still hear me?
Yes.
Excellent. Make sure you have comfortable talking room. And when you're done with your mask, wash it. And if something happens, oops, I dropped my mask. Always have an extra one.
Right.
Or 2 masks. If you got 1 mask, it's not enough because you never know what can happen and you might need it. So always use your mask like a spare tire. Try to have 2 just in case. Try to have a full pack if you can. I know the doc is waiting, so I don't want to take too much of his time. So
thank you very much, Alexander. Good information. Good information.
Sage advice.
And like I said, every time after, I'm sorry.
No. I wanted to just stress what you said. Make sure you always have at least 2 masks with you because you never know. I know when I'm in the car, sometimes I have my mask on my lap and then I open the door and I walk out and my mask is on the floor.
Right.
So it happens.
Absolutely.
And like I said, every time after Alexander speaks, Yolanda, Alexander Bland is not just a passionate young man. He is a nurse. He is a professional in the health field. So he knows of what he speaks and his information is always relevant and good and accurate. Unlike some of the things that some of our people are following on Facebook and from barbershop and beauty parlor experts, Alexander Bland is a healthcare practitioner. So I want to say that again for people in the audience, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. President, I'll turn over to you to introduce Dr. Cupanini before we finish our 5 o'clock or 4:30 half hour.
Okay. For our health information edition, of course, we have Brother Bland every week. I asked Dr. Cupanini, Yolanda, to come back, and he doesn't know, but I'm going to try to make him a regular contributor because we need accurate medical information from people who are medical professionals and know what they're talking about, especially now in this critical stage of the virus and get ready to go into flu season also. And we need information. So without further ado, a local doctor who has a tremendous patient, Dr. Cupanini.
Yeah.
Dr. Cupanini, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Good.
Okay.
Good. Did you hear what I said? I'm trying to rope you into being a regular on our show. We need you.
Glad to serve. Glad to serve. That's no
You heard
problem.
that, Yolanda. Take that down. So we have a new regular.
Okay.
People really need, and Doc, I meet a lot of people, Yolanda's fans and my constituents, and there's a lot of misinformation out there. So can you tell us, number one, if people haven't got the vaccine, what should they do? And then number two, I was talking to a barbershop expert the other day, and he said he didn't know whether he should take the flu shot or the vaccine? So what would you tell a person who has that question?
Well, thanks for having me.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and the important thing about this is you need both of them. Okay, you have to have both of them if you're used to taking flu shot. And one of the way to look at it is this: the number one killer that we have right now is Delta.
Mhm.
Okay, I mean, all you got to do is look at Florida. There are no beds in Florida hospitals. And one of the worst things that you ever want to see in your life as a physician or as a human being is to go into the floor, into the hospital ward and see children on the ventilator. Okay, there's so many of them there that they have no beds. So they have to fly kids out to other states. Okay, and the family have to find a way to get there to go and be with their loved ones. I mean, that's bad. Okay, and this is not, it's going to get worse. All right, it's going to get worse. So you need to get the vaccine. That's number one. It's been proven, and thank God we knew that was coming. The Pfizer is already approved. Moderna is coming next, and that's based on the order in which they applied for the authorization. Okay, it has nothing to do with anything. And so that's number one. Number two, because of what is going on right now, you're going to need the people who always had the flu shot. They're going to need to get it because it makes you susceptible. And because of the way things are this time, we hope we're wrong, but the projection is that the flu season is going to be worse than what it was before. Okay. And because of what is going on in terms of all the dilutions that you see with the virus, and unfortunately, some of the things that some of us have done, the leaders, quote unquote, who told us or told our people not to get vaccinated for whatever reason, and to go ahead and start buying a product we call ivermectin, which is stuff we use for horse worms, to deworm horses, just like they said before, for them to go and drink Clorox. So, and as weird as it may sound, some people actually were doing that. Okay, and the hospitals have records of that. They were actually drinking Clorox, and now they're into using a horse medicine. And please do not use ivermectin. That is the name of the drug. Do not use ivermectin. Yes, we use ivermectin for number one for worms, and we use ivermectin for people who have scabies and resistant scabies. But it's only a very tiny little amount. Okay. But if it's not prescribed, which I know nobody's going to prescribe it for you, please don't use it. Okay. And, one of the things that the complexities of this situation is this: not by design, but because of what we did, people refusing vaccination. Anytime you allow a virus to propagate, they mutate. And that's the reason why we're in the situation where we're in right now. People who have refused to get vaccinated for whatever reason. But the good thing about it is we've been able to convince a lot of people who are now getting vaccinated. I mean, that's the good part of what's going on. Okay. And for whatever it is, please go ahead and get vaccinated because it is not going anywhere. It's not going away. Okay. And just like I said earlier on, we have allowed the virus to propagate, and they have mutated, and they will continue to mutate. There is no end to this. It's just going to be one of our yearly stuff that we're going to have to be doing, and we have to get used to it if you want to live.
Dr. Cupanini, one of the things I hear some younger people say, they are concerned about their fertility, younger women who are childbearing age. Could you speak to that about taking the vaccine and what effect that has on women of childbearing age or men too, who in that age category?
Well, there is no evidence whatsoever that affects anybody's fertility, male or female. We look at the science. We do this medication, it does not even enter into your system. It is a message. It's a messenger RNA, meaning that the way messages are sent by cells in themselves. That's how they transmit information to make to be resistant or whatever. So we're using the same platform to send a message to your body to say, hey, listen, if you see coronavirus hanging around, please, my body, fight it. That's all it's saying. It's not injecting anything into your body. All the vaccines that you and I and everybody else has gotten up to this point, whether it's measles, whether it's polio, whether it's rubella, whether it's even flu shots, they all infect you with the disease to a minimum, and for your body to react to it. That's how those vaccines are based. But this doesn't do that. This is your message for your body to take care of what it's supposed to take care of, but in a refined form and expecting the response to be more robust. That's all this is. And, like I said, I'm happy that a lot of people, younger people and older people as well, that we're talking to with the vulnerable population outreach program for Atlantic City. They are responding, they are calling left and right to say, where can I get my vaccine and what should I do? Which one should I get? And so we've been very successful, presenting the case to the community, and they're responding very well. But the answer to your question, there is no relationship to that point. All the GYN that I know of all over the world, they support the women of childbearing age to get their vaccine. I mean, look, we give these vaccines to people who are on chemotherapy with their immune system very low because of the chemo, but they need it. You got a transplant, a kidney transplant, liver transplant. I mean, I sent my patient yesterday to go get the vaccine. He's got a liver transplant, kidney transplant, and a heart transplant. All those three. He got his vaccine yesterday. He's fine. There's nothing wrong with him. And he's on chemo on top of that. Okay. So it's not, you have a responsibility to take care of yourself and stay alive. Okay. This thing is unfortunate, but it kills people and it wipes out dreams. And this is why it's so important to forget about all this hype or whatever garbage people are peddling. Forget about it. Take care of yourself. Be the only one that takes care of your health. Okay.
Dr. Cupanini, thank you so much for that. And by the way, you're doing an excellent job with your outreach that you're doing in the city of Atlantic City.
Thank you.
As an elected official and also as a president of Naacp, I salute you and I say thank you. For that, and we're going to look forward to seeing you again next week and all the weeks going in the future, because we have to stay on top of this. We got to get vaccinated. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
And we'll be able, anytime, I'm here anytime, like I said, it's a pleasure to serve, and I appreciate the recognition, and I'm very grateful to be part of this.
Okay, Yolanda, keep in touch with you, and you know what? When she calls, we have to do what she says. So
okay, that's the boss. That's the boss right there. Okay.
Well, thank you, doctor.
the boss herself. Yeah.
Right. So now you got it. She has another title. Alexander Bland says she's the queen, so now she's the queen and the boss.
Okay.
So, well, thank you, Dr. Cupanini.
Who knows what's going to come next? The third one. That's right. The super boss. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's Dr. Peter Cupanini, who is going to be a regular here on the 4:30 hour with medical information. As we conclude the 4:30 half hour, Yolanda, going to our 5 o'clock half hour, I see our special guest is here, Attorney Maisha Aziz, who is the advisor to the Camden County Youth Council, and also another energetic person. She's like Victor. They are so energetic, they energize me. And it's always a pleasure to have her here. She was here before, and we said we wanted her to come back with some of her young people so we could feature them. And the NAACP believes and knows that we must uplift our young people. We must let them know that they can get our attention for positive things for moving forward, and they don't have to act out or step out of character for us to pay attention to them and to include them in leadership. So we are so happy to have some of the young people that Maisha mentors and leads. So we're going to start off with Yolanda, since she is queen of radio, boss of the program, and we're waiting for the third title. So she is going to introduce Maisha, and then we'll talk to her young people and move the program along. Yolanda.
For our young people who are visiting with us today, good afternoon. I am a humble servant. So do not listen to what President Shabbat says as we start this show. So Maisha Aziz is an attorney with a budding law practice. She is the New Jersey Conference Youth Works Chair, as well as the advisor, as President said, to the NAACP Camden County East Youth Council. She also serves as a Region 2 advisor for our young people. And she is a glowing example of someone, the busier you get, the more you serve. And she has come back to our program, and she will showcase to her young people. So with that, I'll turn it over to you, Maisha, to get the conversation started on our 5 o'clock half hour. Welcome again.
Yes, thank you so much, President Shabazz, Councilor Melville, for inviting me back again. I really enjoyed our last conversation, and thank you for allowing me to bring 2 people with me. As Ms. Melville stated, I am the New Jersey State Conference Youth Works Chair. So I have with me today the president of the Camden County East Youth Council, Kennedy Avent, and I have Brother Jafari Wells, who is the immediate past president of the Rutgers University New Brunswick NAACP unit and a proud member of Alpha Phi Alpha. I chose these 2 people. They're from 2 different backgrounds. One is a college student, one is a high school student, one is from Upper New Jersey, one is from Lower New Jersey, have 2 different type of backgrounds and experiences. So thank you again. So Yolanda, would you like me to delve right into the questions with them? Okay, great. So we're going to start with you, Madam President, Ms. Avent, if you could just introduce yourself briefly, and then we're going to go to Brother Wells and he can introduce himself, and then we'll get right to the questions. Madam President.
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Kennedy Avent. I am the president of the NAACP Camden County East Youth Council. I'm 16 and I'm going into my senior year at Kingsway Regional High School, and I'm aspiring to be a pediatric physical therapist.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Brother Wells, could you introduce yourself, please?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for allowing me to be in this space tonight. My name is Jafari Wells, currently a senior at Rutgers University in New Brunswick, majoring in history of political science with a minor in education as a social science. I'm a brother of the Delta Iota chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. I currently serve as the political action chair. This is my 2nd term, actually, as political action chair for the New Brunswick area. I'm sorry, for the Scarlet NAACP. And I aspire to be an educator post-graduation.
Thank you so much, Brother Wells.
Maisha,
All right.
Just Maisha, before they start, let me just say on behalf of the Atlantic City branch, NAACP, and the NAACP Speaks radio program, Madam President, Brother Wells, let me welcome you and say we are so excited to have you. We're so proud of both of you and your achievements. And I'm a Rutgers graduate, Brother Wells, so I'm really ecstatic to see you. And we are just feel so special that you've taken the time out of your schedule, both of you, to come here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And put this date on your calendar, July 14th to the 20th. That's the National NAACP Convention. Is going to be in Atlantic City. We cordially invite both of you and your friends and associates. We want to flood the place out with young people because you are our future and we want you to be involved in Atlantic City in this convention, July 14th to 20th, 2022. Thank you.
And thank you, President Shabazz. You know, they already know.
Okay.
that they will be involved. See, their smile. They already know they will be involved. I've already told them they're going to be hosts, hostesses. They're going to be in it. So we're going to start our first question to Madam President, and then we'll go to Brother Wells. Madam President Kennedy Avent, please tell the audience listening 3 interesting things about yourself that you would like for them to know.
Sure. So I play volleyball and I run track. That sports have always been a really big part of my life. I am also a member of the Alice Paul Institute Girls Leadership Council, which I'm a very proud member of as well. And I'm also a youth leader at my church at Victory in Christ Christian Center in Westville, New Jersey.
All right. Thank you. All right, Brother Wells. Now, I know it was hard for you to narrow it down to 3.
Actually, no. I'm not as how do you say Renaissance woman like Madam Kennedy over there. I'm a little bit more boring. So I said my first one is I'm left-handed. I think that's a unique skill. I have the same birthday as LeBron James and Tiger Woods. And my final one would be my favorite player is LeBron James as well. So.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So, Madam President, tell us, how has your experience with the NAACP Youth Council prepared you for civil rights and social justice leadership? And then we will ask the same question of Brother Wells.
Yes. So I think through NAACP, it's definitely helped me come out of my shell for sure. If you asked me 2 years ago, would I even be doing something like this? I mean, thanks, Miss Maisha and all the other people that came before me in my youth council. I just really learned a lot, and I probably wouldn't have been as involved. And now I'm like trying to get all my friends, like, come join my youth council. Like, I'm signing you up. You're coming to this. You're coming to that. It just definitely helped me become more aware of different things that are going on. I kind of never really involved myself in different things that were going on around the world socially. I mean, I even experienced personal things, racially bullied at one of my high schools I went to my freshman year, which kind of got me involved in the NAACP to start with. And so just working with my other council members and fighting for different things that we see going on in our communities in Camden County, it's definitely just helped me become more aware and come out of my shell fighting for our rights. For sure.
And before we get to you, Brother Wells, I just want to jump in. So, Madam President, so your membership in the Youth Council and your placement for leadership in the Youth Council has prepared you for future civil rights and even current civil rights leadership. And so I'm going to share with everyone here today what you and I talked about earlier, and how, for those of you who don't know, in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, the teaching of Black history is now mandatory, and there may be a protest by people who do not believe that it should be this evening. And so Madam President and I will be working on a press release. And I suggested a press release, old school in a paper, but Madam President said, what about a video press release where she's going to get out and she's going to explain to our community and show other leaders that the Youth Council, who is run by youth, are supporting this idea and contention that Black history is American history and is something that should be taught in schools. And so, Kennedy, would you say, if you had not been involved in the NAACP, would that be something that you would have even considered to do?
Right. I was going to add right after you finished, before the NAACP, I never would have just, oh, hey, like, let's make a video explaining why this is so important. So I just think that the NAACP really has shaped my leadership and definitely helped me and prepared me for the future and different things. Even when I go off to college and I see things around there, definitely just has prepared me for fighting for our rights in the future as well.
All right. Thank you, Madam President. Now we're going to go to our college student, Brother Wells. Tell us, please, how has your NAACP experience on the college level prepared you for civil rights and social justice leadership?
Oh, well, I would have to say in many profound ways. I know when I first got here, as I think a lot of Black youth are in their arrival to college, we have a lot of energy, but we're not really sure where to tailor it at. Growing up, I had a lot of information that, I was privy to with regards to, the situation and circumstances of African-American people in the diaspora at large in the country. And there was a lot of things that I knew I did not like, but I didn't really have the tools or the understanding on how to fix those things or how to even address those things. And I think a lot of us, again, we kind of get into our own shell where we feel like we're just one person. One person will never be able to make this entire change. The world will just stay the same way. Because we don't have enough power. But once I got to the NAACP, I was actually, recruited by a friend of mine who was the former president of the Scarlet NAACP chapter. His name was Larry Trailer. He was a close friend of mine. We did EOF together, and me and him would have these intense conversations, almost kind of like, Martin and Malcolm, because we had like such different viewpoints of, how we should go forward as a Black community. And he was like, bro, like, come to the NAACP, come to one of our meetings, and, I think that we'll really be able to use your input. So I came out one day, literally, just on a regular Monday evening, and I can say that the NAACP, alongside my fraternity that I'm in, Alpha Phi Fraternity Incorporated, has been the number one, vehicle for progress in the way I think, in the way I handle my ability to press social issues forward. I know specifically with the NAACP as being political action chair, I was also high school outreach coordinator. I was the president. I pretty much served almost every single role within the organization. Each of those different roles have taught me a different thing about social action. When I was the president, you have to realize that as a leader, if you're a leader of a movement or organization, you have to have humility. That's the number one, trait that you have to have anytime that you're a part of an organization or you want to call yourself a leader. So you have to be able to listen to the people who are also a part of this organization, who are also a part of this operation in which you're trying to change the world. Also, I realized that no act is too small. Sometimes you might feel like, you just having a rally, or as you may see, I have a Breonna Taylor poster behind me. This is from our Breonna Taylor and Black women affected by police violence vigil that we had last October. It was something that was, small in a sense, like, it didn't have the biggest impact. It didn't change policy or legislation, but it was something that had an effect on people. So that's something else that I realized, that nothing, like, no matter how big or small the act is, it's an act that is going to, press the issue forward. So I think, and, succinctly put, I think the way that the NAACP has helped me with my future and even current aspiration as a social and civic leader is definitely been able to give me the tools to structure the amount of energy that I had. I didn't like certain things, in NAACP, along with the help of the New Brunswick area NAACP, has given us a lot of tools. Ms. Tony Hendricks, who's the New Brunswick area NAACP historian as well as political action chair, has worked very closely with us. So we've done voter registration. We've marched with Terrence Floyd. We've done so much stuff in the community that I don't think without that type of input and that type of, helping hand from the New Brunswick area NAACP, I would have ever been able to experience. So
that was really deep, Brother Wells. And I want to talk to you about the NAACP being a safe space. And I'm going to speak generally, but feel free to speak specifically if you'd like. So there was an instance earlier this year where students on the Rider campus and the Rutgers New Brunswick campus were cyber invaded at programs they were having. So the NAACP on a state level, for our young people, we had just a listening session where we just listened to how the people who were affected by this cyber racism, how they felt. And Brother Wells, would you say that that is an important thing, to have a safe space for students of the African diaspora, or brown and Black students, as it may be said, to have a safe space to discuss these racial incidents that do have an impact on them? Because everybody, and I think you've said this succinctly, everybody doesn't have the same approach to how to respond. Everybody doesn't want to be, Attorney Crump. Everybody doesn't want to be on CNN, but everybody does want to have an exchange where they can share how they feel. Would you say that the NAACP has at least provided that type of safe space for students to at least express how they feel and feel comforted and supported?
Yeah, so I want to kind of break that into like a two-part, question. So, or a two-part answer rather. So on one end, specifically with regards to the cyber invasion that happened, this happened last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, it was
No, I'm
this
sorry.
year.
I'm sorry. You're right, Mrs. E. That happened in March of this year. And it happened to a few brothers of my fraternity. And what I can say is that after that event, the group or the organization that had the most help, the most that reached out the most, that tried to actually have tangible steps for the next step of progression was the NAACP. Mrs. E's called all of us. She put my chapter, as well as the individuals at Ryder, as well as some other state leaders. And they basically gave us almost kind of a format as to how to respond. And with that being done, that was able to feel like we were actually heard, because, with regards to the university and, other universities, we definitely didn't believe they did the best job they could in making us feel safe, making us feel heard, or making us feel that we would get justice. But I definitely can say that when NAACP came along and talked to us, we definitely felt like that there was something that we can do. We felt empowered. So that's one instance. And then secondly, as far as being a safe space, I think that's critical in any type of walk of life, whether you're at a job, whether you do youth counseling, whether you're at college. I think having a safe space so that you can express yourself in a genuine way is very important. And I think that specifically with the New Brunswick area and the Scarlet NAACP's relationship, they have done that magnificently. Like, Bruce, who's, Mr. Bruce and Miss Deb, who's the president, he's the president of the New Brunswick area, but he's also like on the state, New Jersey State Council with the NAACP as well. He gives us so much advice. He gives us so much freedom at the same time to do what we want and feel like that it's our organization. They're never stepping on our toes. They've never, strayed us away from an idea. They've literally given us, countless amount of monetary funds, countless amount of ideas, countless amount of support. So even in that situation in itself, it could be considered a safe space. The fact that they are allowing us to be our genuine selves. They're allowing us to allow our ideas to come to light. And, I can't say enough about the New Brunswick area NAACP and how much they have been an influence to the organization, but to me, myself as an individual.
Thank you so much. And I know we don't have a lot of time, President Shabazz and Counselor Attorney Melville, but as you guys know, I'm very passionate about providing platforms to young people to speak and for us to hear young people speak. But we talked before, and I told Brother Wells yesterday that really my plan is to have this platform for us as well on a state level for the youth. But I'm going to move on to our last question. President Avent, tell us about your career plans and how did you decide on that career plan?
Yeah, so right now I'm planning to be, as mentioned before, a pediatric physical therapist. When I first started thinking about jobs, I always wanted to be a special education teacher. It was something I always had a passion for. I worked with kids that had special needs at my church and even helped start a special needs ministry. And it was just something I always had a heart for. I've always had a heart for serving. So that's where I really felt that's where I needed to be. But going into my freshman year of high school, I actually tore my PCL in my left knee long jumping at Junior Olympic qualifiers. And that kind of changed everything, changed my views on what I wanted to do. So through every doctor's appointment and physical therapist, it kind of changed my views. And I'm just like, I love bones and muscles. And so I'm like, this is so interesting to me. So as I continue to look more into that, I'm like, should I be an athletic trainer? Should I be an occupational therapist, physical therapist? Kind of going through that. And I came to the conclusion I wanted to help people the way that my physical therapist helped me in recovery. So that's where I kind of got the idea of being a physical therapist. But I still wanted to incorporate that way of serving and still involving kids that had special needs, autism, physical disabilities, and kind of that aspect. And so that's when I had the idea to become a pediatric physical therapist for children that have autism and physical disabilities. So that's just, I know that's the road I want to go down. And yeah, that's what I want to do.
Thank you. Same question for you, Brother Wells.
So my aspirations, as I briefly stated earlier, is to become an educator. My first goal is to be a teacher in the classroom, but then at some point I would like to affect change on educational policy in urban areas. The way I plan to do that is potentially doing Teach for America. I've also done other like internships with charter school networks and things of that nature. But the reason I really decided to do that is because I, maybe as naive as I may be, I really do ascribe to the ideology that in order to better a situation for a group of people, you have to educate them. And I don't mean education in the most like, how do you say? I don't mean education in a conventional way as the academics. I mean education as far as, plumbing, education as far as, technical ventures and things of that nature. We need to be able to educate our people so that we can understand the concept, the constructs that we're currently in and move past them. And I do think that, as I mentioned earlier as well, not one individual is going to change the world, but if I have the ability to have impact on generations of students who can remember, Mr. Wells said a lot of profound things. Mr. Wells made this type of impact on my life. I still think about my sixth grade teacher, Miss Cherry Hill. Like she did a lot, like literally, she did a lot for her. Her name was Miss Cherry Dash Hill. It was weird because she was from like the South, and we have the Cherry Hill Camden Youth Council around here too. But yeah, so she was my math teacher. She made a profound impact on me. She was the first individual who told me, like, I remember telling her, I'm like, I think I could go to college. She said, no, you're not going to go to college. You're going to go to a university. And I had no idea what that meant at the time. I'm just like, isn't it college? Like, isn't it the same thing? But it's just those little type of moments you have in your life. Teachers spend more time with our children than parents do in a lot of instances. So if we can have, more Black male teachers and have that, more of a personal influence on a young Black male generation, as well as, young Black women as well, I think that will push our people into a much better place.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It was a young Black male teacher who guided my son, steered him away from law and into film. But what can you do? But it was that influence. And now that is something that he loves and enjoys. So President Melville and President Shabazz and Attorney Melville, I know that we have to be done by 5:30. Do we have a minute or two just to conclude with the young people? Okay.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
I did want to talk, have Kennedy talk a little bit. She did interview the lieutenant governor this year, along with 3 other state officials as part of her role in the Alice Paul Institute. So I just wanted you to talk about that, maybe give us like 10 seconds about that and how you felt when you did that program.
Sure. So that was definitely an interesting experience, kind of what I was discussing before about how the NAACP has shaped me. As I mentioned, I probably would have never done that 3 years ago before I started with the NAACP and just helping me come out my shell. It was very eye-opening and definitely very inspirational. They all just shared their stories about how hard it was to be not only a woman in government, but a Black woman, and their journey and how they've been turned down and faced adversity, and they just came back. And definitely, and the title of the whole interview was called Trailblazers, and how they really are trailblazers in not only the New Jersey government, but in the United States government. And so just really, the one thing that I took away from that was, when you see people do that, it lets you know that I can do that too. And so it's just like, there's little girls out there. I mean, I know I'm not interested in going into government, but even just saying like people can do that. And the more there is representation and little people can see that, like, oh, I want to be like her. I want to do that. And so like the more that the younger people can see that, it just lets them know that they can do that too. So it was just definitely very inspirational and eye-opening, and was an honor to be able to talk to them.
Thank you. And Brother Wells, I wanted you to chime in, because what I thought that you said was very important and insightful was that how the advisors and the people who are on the Youth Works Committee, like myself, we are providing young people like you and Madam President a platform to lead. So last year, we had our virtual youth conference for the New Jersey State Conference, and you assisted with that. Could you just talk a little bit about how it meant for you to moderate some of those programs, to speak at those programs, and to be a leader on not just a local level with your college unit, but on a state level?
Right. So that's one thing I can say, as I've gotten older, I've seen the importance of leading more and more. And I think that that's something that the NAACP is trying to instill in a lot of the membership, is that you can lead in multiple different ways. So even myself, just, moderating a brief breakout room, or myself moderating a few questions or answering the questions, or being on a platform like this. In a way, I am leading. I'm pushing the ideology to individuals who may not have been exposed to the way I think or the way I maneuver previously. So I think that that's something specifically, like, again, I think that's a very NAACP thing. You know, there are a lot of different organizations and stuff on campus that, you know, individuals may join that may have similar mission statements or similar goal sets. But the NAACP in particular, I really do think is an organization for the building of civic engagement leaders, you know, individuals who are able to put themselves in different situations and navigate them in a way that will, you know, allow them to shine. So I think the NAACP has done a phenomenal job with that.
So you have heard it, ladies and gentlemen, as they say, from the mouth of these young people themselves, the work that the NAACP is doing on every age level, and the platform and the environment that we are working hard to cultivate so we can nurture our people. Rutgers, New Brunswick Youth College Unit was highlighted during a national meeting that we had. I was so proud to see our New Jersey unit just in a picture, just having them being shown that, hey, we're doing voter registration. The Camden County East Youth Council was recently a recipient of the Tupac Shakur Foundation, where they received grant money in order to continue to do the work that they're doing in the community by having college tours twice a year and things like that. So our time is almost up, but I want to say thank you again to the NAACP Atlantic City branch for allowing us to provide a platform for these youth. And we are looking forward to working with the two of you to help our youth on a state level have their own platform so they can have their own show and shine. So thank you again, President Shabazz and Attorney Melville. Thank you.
Sister Maisha, thank you so much for bringing these young people on. President Kennedy, Brother Wells, I am in awe of both of you. I'm trying to think back when I was 16 years old, as I was as focused and articulate as the president was, and I don't think I was. When I was at Rutgers, I can say I was more mature through the NAACP experience. I don't think I was sharp as Brother Wells, but I was almost there. Thank you so much for both of you coming on. Yolanda, closing comments. We have 2 minutes.
I just want to say, wow. Thank you for sharing your insight. Thank you for being bright leaders. I have 3, I guess, points I want to just share with you, young people. You'll always have a place at the NAACP. Please continue to do the work, even when your time and your life takes you in all kinds of different directions and leaders you'll be sought after highly and heavily throughout the rest of your lives. But you always come back to the NAACP and serve. And my second point to you is always come back to New Jersey and share your brightness and your future with the future of our state. I say around the country, as well as Maisha says, and President Shabazz, that New Jersey here has the best and the brightest that we have to offer the United States of America when it comes to our young people. And you two exemplify that highly. So thank you.
Okay. Alexander Bland, Victor Moreno, Dr. Cupanini, Brother Wells, President Kennedy, Maisha, Aziz, we thank all of you. Be safe. If you haven't got vaccinated, which I know you have, encourage other people to get vaccinated. Get ready to take your flu shots. Wash your hands. Keep your distance. Wear your mask. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. And you are always welcome. See you in Atlantic City. Thank you. All right, Madam Vice President.